to the Finance and Tech podcast. I'm your host and Chief Finance Techie, Simon Ritchie. This is the show where we dive into all things technology for finance teams. I interview other finance techies, finance leaders, and industry legends who share their stories, strategies, and insights to help you build and grow your career in finance. In this podcast, we're joined by Alex Falcon Huerta, the founder of her own accountancy practice, Soaring Falcon Accountancy, where she helps ambitious tech businesses to launch into new markets. If that wasn't enough, she's launched a second business based in Sri Lanka and has built a following on LinkedIn where she shares advice and authentic moments from her journey and travels. In this episode, we talk about the right finance tech stack. Alex discusses the importance of embracing technology in finance and shares her lessons and recommendations on what solutions you should consider to automate and streamline your finance. She is a digital accountant. She thinks cloud first. She uses technology to streamline her work with clients, and that enables her to follow one of her other passions, which is travel. I thought Alex was a great person to talk about the finance tech stack because she helps to put a new tech stack into a lot of her customers from scratch, often moving away from ad hoc spreadsheets and emails into tightly integrated collection of systems. When she started her career, everything was still running on paper. So she's been involved in the transition from physical books to desktop-based solutions to now cloud, where you can access these things from anywhere. One of the big things that Alex deals with a lot is overcoming a resistance to technology. So she shares her success stories on technology implementations. We also dive into some new technologies that she's really excited about and some favorite productivity hacks and tech products that she's excited about that improve her day-to-day as a founder and CEO. Alex is hilarious. She's really amazing. She's got a fantastic approach to finance and work. She's building two really impressive businesses and is really humble and authentic. She also talks about a new group that she's launching with some partners called the Global Women's Accounting Influence Group. So listen along to get more information. I hope you enjoy. So, hi Alex, welcome to the show today.
Hi Simon, how are you doing? Thank you for having me here today.
Yes, doing very good. So Alex, I thought I'd just tell the story about how we met first. So I one of my favorite conferences every year is called SaaStock, and they run some local events. And I was at SaaStock in London a couple of months ago. I was chatting to Alex, the amazing founder at SaaStock, and we were talking about what I do, which is all about finance and technology and finance systems. And he said, "Oh, Simon, you should go and chat to Alex over there." And so he introduced me and he said, "Yeah, she's this amazing accountant, but she's so cool that all the people that work with her drag her along to events." So you're famous, Alex, as the accountant that everyone loves to drag along to events. So I'd try and drag you onto my podcast.
Yeah, that was brilliant. Yeah, that was Bridget Harris from You Can Book
That's
on
right.
Me. Yeah,
Yeah,
so
yeah, fantastic.
I
Yeah.
was
Well, there you go.
filming the event.
Yeah. So yeah, welcome to the show. Could you just give us a quick intro and background about your journey, what you're up to?
Yeah, sure. So I'm Alex Falcon Huerta. I'm the founder of Soaring Falcon Accountancy. I'm based in Bedford, or my company was founded in Bedford, but actually I take care of SaaS clients and software vendors and
Yep.
basically help them launch into the UK. Or they're based in the UK and I've helped multiple companies launch overseas into various countries. So it's very, very niche. I have quite a good international network of accountants around the world. So usually get in touch with those and they help me to grow the clients or help the clients grow internationally
Yeah.
as well, rather than having to go to like a massive top firm, basically.
Yeah.
So yeah, we have it's a lot more niched. So
Yeah.
that's like in a nutshell. I
Yeah.
work with like all the same type of technology as the technology firms.
Yeah.
So for the last like 15 years, and anything that I can implement to make my life easier or technology I can bring in, I will bring in basically.
Yeah.
Yeah, including you convert me, for example.
Yeah. Fantastic. Yeah. Yeah. And that's what I loved, and that's what I thought was really refreshing, and why I thought you'd be fantastic to bring on the show. Just in terms of your background, so you started out in accounting. Why did you get into accounting? What drew you that way?
Yeah, so if we go back to the good old desktop days, and even before desktop, where
Yeah.
we weren't even allowed to use spreadsheets, and it was like, I wanted a career that I can essentially travel,
Uh-huh.
but I also wanted to do really well in my chosen path.
Yeah. Yeah.
So working in like small practices in the early days, and there was no cloud technology, it got to a stage where eventually the cloud technology started to come out, and I think it was probably around 2008, 9. Companies that I would work for, they would only bring it in, or they wouldn't either bring it in at all, or they would just bring in small elements of it. And
Yeah.
so I would take myself to these conferences and learn
Yeah.
about the cloud technology,
Yeah.
and understand that actually this is going to make a massive difference to me or to the clients. But again, nobody really saw my vision.
Yeah.
And in a way, it was a good thing because it really pushed me to then do something about it. And so eventually I decided to launch Soaring Falcon, which was 2015. And even then, back then, like I had a handful of products that I was then able to kind of get off the ground and launch to be 100% cloud and digital.
Right.
But it was a painful process back in the day. Like
Yeah.
I just didn't like it at all. And so now it is like it has been fully online for a long time.
Yeah.
And
Amazing.
implementing products all the time to maintain that.
Yeah. Yeah. That's amazing. It's an interesting one. There are so many accountancy businesses that are very old school, and I understand that for a lot of them, trying to transform, bringing in a system which saves time when you're billing for your time is a bit of a conflict and a difficult challenge there. But
Yeah.
if you embrace technology, then you can deliver way more value for your customers, have more customers, do more strategic value add. Um, so yeah, I really love your approach.
Yeah, I think the
You
talking about, sorry, you were just saying
Sure.
about like the timing, and sorry to
Yeah,
interrupt, but like even with like the pricing and things like that, it's like I just do it on a monthly subscrition. So,
yeah,
so
yeah,
it's like just to make it as simple as possible rather than
yeah.
billing like the old school accountants. So,
Okay, okay. Your whole approach is different. Yeah.
yeah, yeah.
Amazing, amazing. So you've got Soaring Falcon, which is your own practice, and it sounds amazing. And then you've also got a couple of other businesses. You're quite a bit of an entrepreneur. Do you want to talk about those?
Yeah, sure. So I guess it was a COVID project. I decided to launch an offshoring company in Sri Lanka. Again, that was a long story behind that. And the same with
Yeah,
most business owners, like you go through your
yeah,
ups and downs and your challenges, and you're like, what's the solution here?
yeah,
And I'm always interested in finding solutions and to problems. And so that was when the company in Sri Lanka was born
yeah,
during COVID period. And yes, I've been working closely with the team in Sri Lanka, trying to develop it and understand, how best to, to have a good high end delivery on that to,
yeah,
again, global accountants. Or at the moment, we've focused on the UK, but
yeah,
that was one. And yeah, I do like little things on little projects on
yeah,
the side, like property investment stuff, and
yeah, yeah.
yeah, like things
Amazing,
like that.
amazing. I suppose if you could describe your current business ventures with
Hmm.
using only emojis, which ones would you pick?
Oh my gosh.
It's a good question,
Well,
right?
probably do the property little house,
Property, yeah, okay.
uh, a world global.
Oh, yeah, nice. Yeah, global.
Um, Probably the laptop online.
Laptop, tech, online, yeah.
Sri Lanka flag for Sri
Sri
Lanka.
Lanka, yeah.
What else is there? There's so many cool ones. I can't even think of them all, and I use them all the
No,
time.
that's fantastic. That's awesome.
Tough question.
Sorry to put you on the spot there. So, and you talked a little bit about travel already, and so you said that you always wanted a career where you could integrate your desire to travel with your
Yeah.
career, and it sounds like you've managed to do that with your current ventures. How does that work?
I mean, like it's been a lot of years of planning, that's to say.
Yeah,
I guess like from a really young age, like I've always wanted to travel, and I always saw myself like traveling the world. And I thought I was going to be one of those people that go to uni, have a gap year, and I'm going to do all this crazy stuff. But the thing is, for me, like I learned about finances and money really early, also. And
yeah,
what I didn't want to do is kind of go into this crazy world of then going straight into debt.
yeah,
And so, I essentially found a job that would
yeah,
then enable me to like save money. Then I learned about the technology, but
yeah,
I always had that in the back of my mind. So when I decided to set up my business, the goal was to be able to work from anywhere.
amazing.
And so the cloud gave me that,
Yeah,
that freedom, the location freedom.
yeah,
And so I was planning all the time, like every step of the way. I was like, how can I
yeah,
do that being not going back to the desk? How can I do that part of the business
yeah,
and not having to run back to the office and speak to the team? So
yeah,
I think like literally every step of the way, like that was always at the end of my mind. And, I feel grateful for having these opportunities. I've
yeah,
obviously created that as well.
yeah, yeah,
But the
absolutely.
fact that I've been able to do it, and I just feel like proud of myself for achieving it.
Yeah,
And then, yeah, being able to travel the world, like, because I get to do both. I get to like live my
yeah,
dream and
yeah.
do my dream job. So, yeah,
Yeah,
happy days.
amazing. Yeah, I've been following your LinkedIn, so you seem to be gallivanting all over the globe. So makes me extremely, happy for you, jealous for me. But but there you go.
Yeah.
Bali, New Zealand. It's just, yeah, it sounds absolutely fantastic. So well done.
Yeah. Thanks. Yeah, it's
Yeah,
been an amazing ride and it hasn't
yeah,
stopped there. So,
yeah,
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 I don't even like I said, I think in another interview recently, like, what are your plans for next year? And I'm like, I don't have any plans.
yeah,
What does
yeah.
that mean?
Yeah, awesome. And so it sounds like your love for technology, so technology's been an enabler to enable other parts of your other aspirations that you've got,
Mm.
as well as an enabler for building a really fantastic, thriving business. Um, what does that look like in a day to day as a finance person working with customers and embracing technology? How does that look and work?
I think in the early days, it was quite challenging because had this like all this like stuff that I wanted everybody to use, and for me, like I found it super easy because I was in the generation where we went from like paper books to computers. And so
Yeah,
for me, like it was like a natural thing of like, oh, we just use computers naturally in technology. But
yeah,
I was in the era where it went from like desktop and paper to like technology.
yeah,
And so in the early days with the clients, I was like trying to convince people like this is the best thing like ever. Like you need to do it. Like you have to have it. But I didn't recognize the challenges that I was going to have like with those
yeah,
people. And I had to really focus on the type of clients that I wanted in the business as well. And actually, it was then that helped me create my client avatar because
yeah,
essentially it was like, right, people who love technology are technology companies and they didn't want
yeah,
to work with desktop or paper. So,
yeah,
working with those technology companies, I then learned a lot about the products that they use and the technology that they use to run their business online.
yes,
And also watching how people with location freedom already, what they
yeah,
did and what they brought into their business and having conversations with them. So,
yeah,
as much technology as possible. Like, for example, how am I going to work remotely, and how can the team have access to everything? And then
Yes.
my clients were using Confluence, like at Lassie, and they're like, "Oh, bring this in or use this." I was like, "Yeah, okay, cool." Like, I'll bring in
Yeah.
Confluence, and then that became like the Bible, like the wiki, the
Okay.
how-to of how
Got
can
it.
everybody access everything.
Yeah.
And
Yeah.
yeah, exactly. So
Yeah.
and so it kind of like spun off from there, and then
Yeah.
bringing in like with the clients, again, if I've got a product that's genuinely going to support them and help them,
Right.
and save them time as well. So sometimes it's about delivery. For example, reporting. Most people, like especially creatives and technology people, they don't want to see like loads of figures. It's, even for my eyes, it hurts.
Yeah.
And so we would need to have, like, the dashboards or the graphs or the tables that will then easily explain where they are or the position of their business.
Yeah.
Um, and
Yeah.
so it's implementing things like that rather
Yeah.
than giving them like a big sheet of numbers where they're like, I have no idea what I'm looking at right now. And
They're a big
yeah,
spreadsheet, zoomed out with all
yeah,
the numbers. Yeah. Yeah.
yeah. Like, I know some people still do that,
Yes. Yeah.
and that, yeah, pretend to understand
Yeah.
it, but they don't.
So this is I'd love to jump into the. I think there's a lot of people in finance today that have come in recently, and technology's already always been there. When
Mhm.
I started in my finance roles, there were still some people were writing in books, but it wasn't in my role.
Mhm.
So just talk us through what did that world look like pre computers, doing somebody's books in a book. What did that look like? Did you
It's
enjoy it?
amazing. You know what? Like, at the
How did it
time,
work?
like, I,
Yeah,
I mean, you obviously don't. At the time, like, I thought it
yeah.
was amazing because
Okay.
I was learning and I was developing, and it was like,
Yeah.
I mean, I was 16. I volunteered in a practice at that time,
Wow. Okay. Okay.
and I had to do payroll, and I had
Yeah.
to do extended trial balances on paper.
Okay.
Yeah, you know what that is.
Nice. Nice.
And
Yeah.
so I
Okay.
had to get the receipts, and I had to put them in the little calculators, and they've got the long um, reel of paper, and then you had to
Okay.
attach the reel of paper to the extended trial balance to evidence
Right.
that you've added it up all correctly. Like taxes and
Yeah.
national insurance, I had the little booklet with all the calculations in,
Okay.
and then you had to
Yeah.
rework the national insurance and taxes. And
Yes.
I mean, I thought it was fun, like at the time,
Yeah.
but
Yeah. Yeah.
if I had to go back to doing that now, then no, it would be the worst nightmare. Like, like thank God for technology,
we
and thank God for
we moved on for a
automation.
reason. Yeah.
Well, that's
Yeah.
it. But like,
Yeah.
then at the same time, it's like now the technology does it, and it does do it quicker,
Yeah.
but we still need to do the workings in the background. Like,
And to
even though the
understand.
software's there,
Yeah.
yeah, like I do things manually, then I put it in the software to make sure that the software spits
Yeah.
out the right information. So,
Yes. Yeah. Yeah, there's something powerful about doing it on a whiteboard sometimes, just to understand the theory of what's meant to happen. This goes to there, and then credits off against
mm.
that, etc.
Well, you'd also be surprised with the amount of bugs that softwares have.
I bet, yeah. I'm working on the software. I understand.
Hold on, that don't add up. And then, like, they probably hate me, but at the
Yes,
same time, I'd rather like find something and say, "Look, can you fix it?" Because then imagine all those other people that it's gonna like affect.
yeah, yeah, absolutely. So a minute ago, you mentioned this idea of the finance tech stack that you recommend.
Mm.
And I thought that you'd be a great person to just sort of talk us through a finance tech stack. Depending on the different size business, there are probably new tools that would get introduced, new problems that emerge as you get to global scale. But
Mhm.
if we just start with your typical client,
Yeah.
what is the standard finance tech stack that you see, and then as companies grow, what would get introduced?
Yeah. So, okay. So, like, I'd normally start with the Zero software
Okay.
as a
Okay.
bookkeeping fundamental, because everything
Yeah.
gets put into Zero, and once Zero, it's in Zero.
Yeah.
Then because it has like the open API and it has multiple products that connect, it
Yeah.
just means that we can feed loads of stuff from that.
Yeah.
So we start with that. Then I
Start with the
use
generator. Yeah.
Yeah, exactly.
Mm.
So
Yeah.
for automation and the invoices and the billing and things like that, I use Dext. Again, multiple products outside of that
Yeah.
potentially people could use, but
Yeah.
I, as a business, I've used Dext from the very beginning. So it was the old receipt bank.
Okay.
So then I'd bring in like Fathom for reporting.
Yeah.
And the most recent one we'll be bringing in is Translucent. So
Yeah.
Translucent is for multi-entity in terms
Yeah.
of reporting, but also I have visibility like on my practice as well, so I
Yeah.
can check everything and to see where everybody's at, like in one place. Um,
Amazing. Yeah.
yeah,
And
so the
what are
three.
you looking for in the reporting there? So it's reporting just the P&L balance sheet cash flow, or are there other things as well?
In the Fathom reports, you mean?
Yeah, in a
Uh,
reporting solution that you would, or translucent.
Yeah, so
Yeah.
we have multi-entity
Yeah.
clients, and
Yeah.
so we have various things that we need to look at. So
Yeah.
intercompany,
Yes.
different
Yeah.
chart of accounts with
Yeah.
different countries. Multi-currency is like a massive factor,
Yeah.
and so we need to also make sure that everything like interlinks. And
Yeah.
some countries don't or can't use zero, or they do use
Yeah.
zero, but then they have to bring it over to a different platform. So
Sure.
then they, because of the government submissions to the government
Okay.
figures,
Yeah.
so we'd have
Yeah.
to like consider like all of these little factors,
Yes.
and then how do we report that across the group,
Yes.
but then making sure that we've eliminated all of the things that should be eliminated, during consolidation. So in a reporting software,
Yeah.
we have to then look at all these options and does it work? Can it work? As
Yes.
much
Yeah.
as possible, try not to refer to like a spreadsheet, like a Google sheet, for the breakdown. But
Yeah. Yeah.
but majority of it we can do by connecting all of the zeros if we can bring it
Yes.
into zero.
Yeah. Yeah.
And then of course, like looking at the revenue, looking at future forecasting,
Yeah.
um, looking at different scenarios, if they need to recruit, if they need to bring in marketing,
Yeah.
what their marketing spend is going to be, what the return on investment is going to be, different various options. So we would look at, bringing in, like having those discussions with the directors, what their
Yeah.
future goals, where they're trying to achieve, what they're trying to get to, and then bringing those into the report. So we kind of work backwards. Um, Most of the reporting solutions potentially like will give like the standard reporting, but usually they're not. You need to customize them.
Yeah.
So things like Power BI, are really good as
Yeah.
well.
Yeah.
So there's different reporting tools available, but we use the one that fits better with my client base because
Yeah.
we niche.
Yeah.
Um,
Amazing.
so yeah. Hmm.
Okay. We've got a general ledger, and then
Yeah.
Dext. What category would you say that falls into? It's,
Uh, so that would fall into invoice and receipts.
yeah. Yeah.
So purchase
Okay.
ledger.
Yeah.
I
Fantastic.
haven't said those words for ages.
I know.
Like you can
Yeah.
tell.
Perfect. Yeah. Exactly.
Like, what's
And then reporting. So that sounds like that's management reporting as well as consolidation for a more complex business and
that?
some forecasting planning. And then, is there anything else in a typical stack that you see?
Yeah, so in terms of billing, so again, there's like Chargebee, there's
Yeah.
Recurly,
Yeah.
because of the if there's like subscription models, again, like because I niche, I've got a certain client base, or they use Stripe.
Yes.
So for the billing,
Yeah.
so again, it's in terms of like for the financial reporting side, it's then like doing aggregated data that goes into the zero software basically.
Yeah. Yeah.
Um, so yeah, that's like the main stack because I don't
Yeah.
have like people with like stock or anything like that. So I don't need to
Yeah.
have like Shopify or things like that, which
Okay.
a lot of people would have.
Yeah.
Because again, because I niche, it's more about having the right tools. So I use then I use like Whisper Claim for like the R&D. for those clients as well. So again, it's not what they would use; it's what I would use for the clients, because
them,
again, they're tech, and we specialize with R&D as well because they're tech.
Yes, absolutely. And then what about so on the compliance side? So have you got any great softwares in there to automate submissions to governments, etc., or does that all come out of the
So
within?
compliance side, so
Yeah,
use a product called FirmCheck for like the anti-money laundering, to make sure that we've got all that side of it in place, because obviously that's what we need to do. So I use Ignition, which is a proposal software and automation for my payments, and I don't have to do like credit control or anything like that, which again can be used for agencies and for other businesses as well, not just accountancy. I then use TaxCalc, which is then for accounts production, tax returns. So then they submit directly to HMRC and to Companies House for the UK. Outside of that, I think for the compliance side, that's probably about it. We have things like what was the other one? We're looking into moving our like drive security stuff to data rooms. We're kind of in the middle of looking at different quotes for things like that. So that again, the documents are kept like in a secure room because they're confidential information and avoiding emailing data. And then we use BrightPay, but we outsource our payroll, but we use BrightPay for payroll, basically. Then we have Employment Hero, which is then for contracts and HR, and that does payroll also. So it's a whole realm of technology, as you can see.
Amazing. That sounds great. So if I play it back, we've got general ledger, systems to help with purchase ledger and sales ledger, invoicing, management reporting, consolidation, giving the managers the info that they need to run to understand performance, run the business. On the compliance side, there's some tools there to help with submissions of your accounts to the government, storing the right documents in the right place for the right amount of time, all that sort of stuff. And HR system as well, because I think, as you're right, in smaller businesses, it's you don't when you free having a HR system. I think finance tend to be the owners of the official HR information as well.
I know. Yeah, no, it's definitely an area where I do recommend having put in, because it's really good for recruitment as well. So but it's like also what the clients use as well and what they enjoy using. So it's like I'd rather, like I say, have the technology in place than have any kind of admin or creating another Google sheet for another reason or database or something like that. So so it's like it's quite technology intense. Some people will freak out, and I get that, but I love it.
How do you deal with that? So I think there's two things when we talk about technology. There's this sort of there's this constant gravity. When something changes, the fastest thing to change is a spreadsheet. So what just happens is, when something in the business changes, you end up downloading the thing to a spreadsheet, and then you tweak the spreadsheet, and then the spreadsheet can live as this extra limb for quite a long time. So that's one sort of very tendency, especially for finance people, because spreadsheets have been with us for such a long time. And then maybe there's the other side of that. The second point is just a general reluctance to change, or maybe it's a fear of technology, fear of the unknown, fear of the black box. How do you approach those
spreadsheets?
Great.
I know we've had this conversation before.
Is that what you do? You sit a client down and you just sit there and you just like, listen up. I
Like,
hate
yeah, this is bad.
spreadsheets.
Like, I literally do. Do you know why? Because like
Okay.
so many things could go wrong. Exactly what you've just said. It's like a formula could be wrong, or something is out of
Yeah.
place, or that's
Yeah.
going to change, and then you have to do this. And like because I use Google Sheets and I don't use Excel, there's so many products that link really well with like Microsoft Excel, and I use
Yeah.
Google, so
Yeah.
but it doesn't work with Google Sheets. So it sometimes is I've tried to find the link between zero and that to so it refreshes.
Yeah.
Okay, and
Yeah.
I'm not like an Excel guru, and I don't know how to do Power Query and pivot tables and all stuff like that.
You
Like,
can have
and
to,
so
but yeah.
no, but I don't want to learn that stuff. Like,
Yeah.
I've already got
Absolutely.
enough on
Yeah.
my plate. Like, or I'll hire somebody to do it. But
Yeah.
it's just like that. I end up going to Google Sheets because sometimes the software don't
Yeah.
do it as intricate as I need them. And
Sure. Yeah.
so,
Yeah. Yeah.
but what I try my hardest to do
Yeah.
is create like a chart or something from it that will make it a bit more pretty and user
Yeah.
friendly and nicer on the eye. Um,
Yeah.
and so yeah, so we do have to do it, but
Yeah.
majority of it is like it might go into Excel or like Google Sheets, but I
Hmm.
will then find or try and find a solution that will then convert it into something that's more user friendly or especially like when I'm delivering it as a report to the client.
Yeah. It can be automated and run, really nice and streamlined.
Yeah,
And how
but
do you deal with
mm,
clients that are a bit, tech averse, perhaps? What,
I
or
don't have
a bit
those
what?
clients.
You don't have them. That's
No,
one. That's one way. Okay. This.
they don't fit the client avatar, so it's a no.
Okay. Okay. Fine. Okay. All right. Good.
That was easy.
That's easy. Next question. Okay. Brilliant. Brilliant. Uh, have you got any? I suppose have you got any success stories or about how helping somebody adopt a lot of technology and what that meant for them? What does that mean for a business owner or an in-house finance team when you bring these new
Mm,
technologies in?
yeah.
How does it help them?
I mean, like it's helped them immensely. Like I've got plenty of success stories
Yeah.
where, for example, they may have like a finance person in house,
Yeah.
which majority of my clients do, to be fair.
Yeah.
And then if what I tend to do, like I do this as as a projects.
Yes.
I will sit with the team and I call it like efficiency projects.
Yeah.
And I will watch what they do and watch their process and talk to them about it, what they're trying to achieve and their end result and what they're trying to get to, basically. What is
Yeah.
the end result? And then usually, like, it's quite manual or they're
Hmm.
using something that's taken them a long time. And
Yeah.
what I'm good at doing is understanding the technology behind what they're trying to do. And so
Yeah.
usually I can say, right, this product does that, and
Mm.
we can bring this in. And
Yeah.
so why don't we trial it and see how you get on? Fine,
Yeah.
keep your spreadsheets
Yeah.
in the background so that they can feel confident that this information is going to come across in the correct way. And then once they're confident, usually they will stop updating that spreadsheet and they'll start using the technology. So we'll bring in that technology and we'll show them like all the rules around what it does and how it can improve their day-to-day life and how they can
Yeah.
then start focusing on doing other fun stuff.
Yeah.
Because most of the time people don't want to be doing like if especially like the finances that kind of sit in the middle, finance people, they want to do like more strategic stuff. And
Yeah.
so if they're doing day-to-day things and the company don't necessarily have the staff available or the capacity, it's like,
Yeah.
okay, so bring in the technology to help them.
Mm.
So like Telaroo is like a really good example of that. So if somebody's doing like manual payments
Yeah.
and paying people manually, like Telaroo is a product where you can upload the back system, the file, and then pay people within minutes and
Amazing.
suppliers within minutes and
Yeah.
the government within minutes if you haven't got direct debit set up for them. And
Yeah.
so it's things like that. And sometimes it is about training and education
Yeah.
about what it can do to help you. But once you see the benefit of what it can do and the time that it's saving, so you can then work on other stuff, that's when the light bulb moment goes, and they're like, oh right, yeah, okay, I think we should do that, and then
Yeah.
they're excited about it, and then they start using it. So I've got multiple stories
Yeah.
where we've stepped in and helped them.
Amazing. Yeah, amazing. Yeah, that sounds absolutely fantastic. Let's jump into just general tech, 'cause I know that you actually love tech for your business to sort of to make you more productive, etc. Um, what's some tech that you're playing with at the moment that you think is interesting? Maybe it's in the AI space, or it's just helping you be more productive as you travel with the multiple businesses you've got.
So I guess I know I mentioned this earlier, but I'm playing around with translucent at the moment,
Yeah.
and basically it's like giving me like insights to my business,
Yeah.
and like it's given me like the total value of my revenue from last year, but all for all my clients.
Yes.
And what it does is it has basically like champagne moments, which I was very, very excited about. So it
Yeah.
would alert me with what's happening with what's going on behind the scenes with my clients. So if somebody's had like a one-off invoice of a large value, then it's
Yeah.
letting me know what that is. So I can then go back to that client and say, oh, wow, that's amazing. Congratulations. Yeah, like things like that. And I love that because
Oh, yeah.
you start to have that closer relationship and you start to
Yeah.
learn about their business a little bit more.
Yeah.
So yeah, there's products like that. What other products am I looking at? I think that was the most recent one that's fresh in my
Yeah.
mind because I was
Yeah.
like dipping in and out of that yesterday. Also,
Yeah.
I've been working with the developers behind the scenes as well, so I get really excited about like checking out
Yeah.
the code and things.
Yeah.
Like, how does that work, and what can we do for this?
Yeah.
Yeah, so
Yeah.
it's fun for me.
Yeah.
Um,
Good.
yeah, so in terms of like other stuff which helps me, I love checking out the new Zapier rules. Like what
Yeah.
rules, what does Zapier have
Yes.
that I'm not thinking about? And I connect Zapier with literally everything. So
Yeah.
it goes like from Ignition, my proposal software, that zaps into Slack, that zaps into my Google Drive.
Yes.
I have dial pad that's zapped into Slack, so it's all into one central place.
Yeah.
I'm One of my other favorite products at the moment is Blue Dot, again AI
Okay.
product, which
Okay.
is then my team. It's basically like meeting, and it's got AI built in, and so it then does all my summary notes and action points, and the clients have access to those videos, so we don't have to send emails backward and forward. They have
Yeah.
access directly, so they know what to do. So that's very exciting.
Amazing.
And again, working with them in the background as well. So I think
Yeah.
what I enjoy about what I do is the products that I work with, I end up
Yeah.
working with the team in the background.
Yes.
And that's probably my favorite part.
Yeah. Fantastic. Well, yes, you should come and help us out as well. Then I definitely think that.
I'll be happy to.
Um, Fantastic. So let's just bring this one home. Let's just end with some fun questions. Just if nothing comes to mind, we'll just say pass. But let's go. What's your go-to productivity hack?
Productivity. Um, Productivity hack is
Something that
probably,
keeps you on top of your game.
oh my God, pass. I can't even think right now.
Pass, fine.
I've probably got like loads. I can't think of. Give me an
That's fine.
example.
That's right. That's right. I heard the word pass. What's your dream collaboration? If you could collaborate with any tech or finance figure.
Just give me some tough questions. My
Tough, isn't it?
dream. Yeah, you really. These are tough ones. Like, have you
Okay,
not
all
got any
right.
fun?
Next. Next.
You know what it is. Like, I'd feel really bad mentioning just one. So, like,
Yeah. Yeah, yeah.
I
It's
do
tough.
like a lot of collaborations, and I just any tech company just collaborate with me.
Yeah, okay. Yeah. Simon Ritchie. Just say that. Go on. It'll make me happy.
Come
What's
to
your favorite
me.
phrase? What's your favorite phrase or quote?
Mm, my favorite place. Be on the spot. When everybody asks me these questions, like ask me all the day-to-day stuff and I'm fine.
I know. Yeah.
I love it.
Yeah. Yeah.
That's my quote.
That's your quote. I
Amazing
love it.
and amazing.
Amazing. Okay. What's your favorite chart or visual way to visualize data?
A chart?
Pie chart.
That was
Great.
terrible, wasn't it?
Okay, you just made a lot of enemies as well. There's a lot of haters on the pie chart out there.
Yeah, like to be
Yeah,
fair, like I like all the charts. That's
yes,
gonna
all
make
the
it
charts.
easier. All the charts. Yeah,
What's the
the
craziest
linear
advice?
regression line. Chuck that one in
Yeah,
quick.
and the trend. Yeah. What's
Trend
the
line.
craziest advice you ever gave a client?
Um, the craziest advice. I always tell people to like just do what's good for you, like live your
Yeah,
dream. Stop thinking about everybody else and think about what you want because that's what a lot of
nice.
business owners tend to do.
Yes.
And when they come back to me and go, Alex, guess what? I just bought this amazing car, like, or whatever. And I'm like, yes, like,
Yeah,
listen, stop thinking about the tax all the time.
yeah, yeah. Do what's good for you. Amazing. And then what's on your, I want to learn more about this topic in the next 12 months. Have you got, yeah, what are you interested in learning about?
So I'm interested in learning about tech. No, I'm joking. So like Spanish, basically. Like
Oh,
I'm
yeah?
trying my hardest to learn Spanish. Yeah, and
Fantastic.
that's on an app, by the way, Preply.
Okay,
Online learning. So that is over the next 12 months my mission, like
nice.
to learn Spanish.
Okay, all right. Okay, well, next 12 months from now, we'll get on and we'll
Hola,
do another episode.
sí, muy bien.
Yeah, fantastic.
Gracias.
The problem is my Spanish is terrible. I was great. Um, Alex, you're currently working on a new group. It's a global women's accountancy influencers group.
Yes.
Do you want to just talk about that just quickly? What's going
Yeah,
on?
sure. Sarah Lawrence, Heather Smith, and myself, we met up in Singapore in an international conference, all
Fantastic.
in the industry, and we created and founded Global Women's Accounting Influencers Group, which is very, very new. So we currently just have it as a WhatsApp group at the moment, but we've got amazing branding and website being developed in the background.
Uh-huh.
Lots of exciting things happening in the new year,
Amazing.
and it was created so that we can have like deep conversation. We can meet up at conferences. We can organize shared accommodation if we want to travel internationally, so you're not alone. To have pre-meetups before conferences, so you're not going through the conferences and alone. To learn,
Yes.
educate, and help around speaking,
Yeah.
and enhancing what you do in your practice or in your career.
Amazing.
Um, yeah, to come on to retreats, to problem solve, to do all these amazing things together. So
Yeah.
because it's global, like it means
Yeah.
that, we're just going to have like a better understanding about different cultures and how people operate different parts of the world. So I'm very, very excited about the group.
Yes. It sounds very exciting. I definitely am gutted. I don't. You're not going to let me in, are you? It's not
No,
for me.
we just had a meeting about it this morning, and the first one was no men.
Okay, fine.
Sorry.
Positive, positive,
Could
positive
create a man's
discrimination
group,
there. Yeah, yeah. Well, that's a great idea too. We
global
can
man's accounting influencers.
Global Man's Accounting Influencers Group. Yeah, I'll think about it and I'll get back to you. Yeah.
Fine.
Alex, thank you so much for coming on today. Thanks for answering my silly questions at the end and
Okay.
sharing all the insight that you've worked on with your customers over the past few years. All the great tech and the great tools and tips for us. So thanks very much. Have a wonderful day, and we'll catch up with you very soon.
Thank you very much. Thank you for having me.